All right, everybody, what up? I have a sip of my coffee here first, real quick. Coffee and watches, gotta love it. By the way, shout out to Nespresso. I just picked up an Nespresso machine by about a month ago, and god damn, it is super good. Granted, this is the decaffeinated coffee. I quit regular coffee, so now when I want to get my fix, I use decaf. And it tastes great, and espresso is amazing, so highly recommend you get an espresso. So anyways, yeah, I want to do a quick video here and just talk about watches. So I know from my previous videos, I'm either talking about fitness stuff, or I'm talking about tattoos, or I'm playing guitar. So those are my hobbies and the things I like to do. And on top of that, I am also a watch enthusiast. And I guess you could say I'm a collector. Granted, I don't have the world's biggest collection of watches, but I do have a few. So to me, I guess it's a decent sized collection. But I'll give some backstory here for this video. I've always loved watches as far back as I can remember, even when I was a little kid. I remember having, when I was just a little guy, a Mickey Mouse watch with Mickey's hands telling the hours and minutes, and it had like a leather band, and I mean, that was just like the coolest thing ever. I loved that watch so much, and I wore it all the time. And now that I'm talking about it, it makes me want to go and go and get one. Where that watch is today, I have no idea. But yeah, that's when my whole infatuation with watches began, and I've pretty much been obsessed with them ever since, for whatever reason. I don't know what it is. I can't explain it. I just like them. I like wearing them. I like the different styles of watches. I like the different uses for it. I just think they're really cool. And in today's society, it's an antiquated piece of technology, and you have a clock and a phone. I mean, everywhere, so you don't really need a watch, but I still wear them all the time. But so yeah, that backstory, that's where I started with my watches. As I got older, I started to buy more watches, and I could afford nicer pieces, and for the longest, like, luxury timepieces weren't really on my radar because I couldn't afford them. I mean, I knew of them. I never had any real desire to want to purchase one, because I just never thought I'd make enough money to be able to own one. That changed as I got older and I started doing better with my career and making more money. And as I started collecting nicer watches, that's when the more luxury timepieces started getting on my radar, and I started to learn about the different types that there are, and different manufacturers, and the different types of movement and materials that are used to make these watches, and the amount of labor hours that go into making them makes them like works of art, and I just can really appreciate that. So around 2016, I started toying with the idea of getting a Rolex. And, for me, it was the holy grail was the Submariner with the date. I'm sure most people, the handful of watches in their collection, and I'm sure the Submariner, date or no date, is definitely in that collection. And for me, I like that it was stainless steel. I like that it had the Cyclops eye with the date movement and the water resistance, and just everything about it, like the way it was designed and engineered. It's timeless, and it's tasteful and elegant without being flashy or gaudy or anything like that. So I told myself I was going to bust my ass and work super hard and buy one of these watches. And in 2018, that happened. Now, I knew of watches and all that stuff, but at the time I didn't know about the bottleneck supply chain and this demand higher than the actual production of the watch itself. So being naive, when it came time for me to get ready to buy my watch, to my dismay, every authorized dealer I went into, they had nothing to sell me. they almost laughed at me like, you want to buy what? No, we don't have that. And even these supposed wait lists that you guys talk about online all the time, they don't exist. I mean, maybe if you are a regular buyer of jewelry and, you know, you're spending $100,000, you know, plus, you know, a year on watches and jewelry, yeah, then they'll probably put you on some sort of wait list and you get like priority for watches. But if you're just some average Joe Schmo walking into a random authorized Rolex store or a AP store or a Patek or whatever, and there's no wait list, okay? Even now today, it's bizarre. Like, you go into the Rolex store and they have every hot watch on display with this little green card next to it that says, for display only. There's no movement. Basically, it's like a car without a motor. It's really, really bizarre. At least before, back then when I was looking, they had, you know, like a Datejust, or, you know, an Oyster, you know, with the fluted bezel or whatever, or they had some like presidentials. They still had some watches to sell. Now there's no watches to sell. So, yeah, I tried everywhere. I tried every basically authorized dealer in Los Angeles, and they all told me the same thing. And I would call, I would send an email, you know, and it was just, no, we don't have any to sell, sorry. So I was like, damn it, like, what the hell? Like, I actually have the money to do this. I've worked my ass off, and now I want to buy this thing and I can't do it. It was really frustrating. Luckily, my friend Aaron, you know, he has a two-tone Submariner, and we went to lunch one day, and I noticed he was wearing his watch, and I asked him, I said, dude, I really want to get, you know, my Submariner. Like, where did you get your watch from? Did you buy it from a Rolex store? And he told me no. He said, you know, basically he was already hip to the game and basically let me know that my only option at this point was to go to a gray market reseller and buy it there, but that I would have to pay, you know, more than what the MSRP was, even for used watches. It was crazy. So he put me on to davidsw.com, and I went on there, and they had, you know, plenty of Submariners, date, no date, I mean, two-tone, blue, Hulk, like, you name it, he had it all. So I was super stoked, and FYI about davidsw.com, they're super reputable. You know, read the Rolex forums. These guys are great. They're really open with communication. You know, they get back to you ASAP, whether it's through a phone call or email. They have like an insane stock and supply of watches, not just Rolex, but other brands too. And you can wire the money directly through your bank, and they will overnight you the watch next day. And that's what I did. So anyways, I'll be very candid and open about the whole process for me. And, you know, I think at the time, this was 2018, this was before they raised their prices. I want to say 2021, Rolex raised their prices, and they discontinued the Hulk, and they discontinued the 40 millimeter sub and changed it to a 41 millimeter sub, and prices went up. So this was before the price hike. I want to say the MSRP for the Submariner that I wanted, which was the one with the date, was somewhere around $8,500 or $8,600, something like that. And I was able to purchase the watch from David SW for $9,200, and just straight up $9,200. They paid for the overnight shipping. Yeah, I just did everything online. It was super easy. And I bought my watch, and they overnighted it to me, and I had it delivered to a FedEx facility, and made sure that, you know, 2-3 forms of ID were required to pick up the watch. So yeah, I went and picked up my watch and brought it home, and like, man, what an experience that was, to like struggle to like find where I could purchase it and jump through all these hoops after working so hard to make the money to buy the watch of my dreams. And yeah, I'll never forget bringing it home. Like, it was like a little kid on Christmas morning unboxing that watch, man. That was a really, really cool experience. And, you know, after the whole hype of all that wore off, a part of me was like, this is it? This is the reason why I'm making this video. So, you know, there's all this hype online from influencers and athletes and actors and actresses and politicians and all these people that wear all these high-end luxury timepieces, and they've just made the demand for these watches skyrocket. And you know, the gray market prices have exploded and inflated through the roof. It's pretty insane what, you know, a stainless steel sports watch is selling for in the gray market right now. Although I know prices are going down, which is good. I mean, the reason why they're going down is not good. You know, the economy's not doing too great. We're in the midst of a recession. Inflation is sky high. But for people that it's not affecting them, this is a good time to be a watch owner and a fan of these timepieces, because the prices are starting to drop back down to reality, which is awesome. Yeah, like I wouldn't be caught dead paying what my watch was worth at its peak. There was no way in hell. I mean, even when I bought my watch for $9,200, that was a lot of money, to spend on an arbitrary, piece of antiquated technology when you really think about it. It's all hype, and like Rolex especially, I mean, they are the kings of hype. And I say that because, when I got my watch and, after like all the, excitement and everything wore off, I really started to think to myself, like, really? Like, this is it? Like, this is what I'm getting for, basically the price of a used car. This is all they're giving me. And I want to show you what I'm talking about. And it starts with the box, Rolex, they give you this box. This is literally just a cardboard box. There's nothing fancy about it. I mean, at least Omega, if you buy a Seamaster or a Speedmaster, it comes in a really nice like wood grain box, or it's like velvet, and it comes with like, the tools to take the bands off and all this extra shit. Rolex just gives you like nothing, basically. So, you open the box and there's a box within a box. I'll show you what this stuff is in a second. But basically, it's just like a little piece of foam, and then, the very coveted green box. People resell these things with no watch in it for $300. This is literally just plastic. I mean, they couldn't even like find it in themselves to make this thing out of wood. I mean, it literally is just hard plastic. So, I mean, it looks cool and all, it's got the crown on there and this little wavy part, and it says, Switzerland, Rolex, blah, blah, blah. But I mean, dude, this is like for $10,000, it's kind of a joke, man. So, you have your little thingy here that the watch sits on when you get it, when you open it. And then there's a little flap down here in the bottom. You pop that thing open, and then all that's in here really is your warranty card, which is right here. I'm going to block out my serial number, but yeah, your warranty card right there. And then the warranty little booklet that explains the terms of the warranty. And then on the back of the warranty card is the date it was purchased and where it was purchased from. And then you basically just have an instruction manual. That's it. Paper. And it tells you how to wind the watch, how to set the date, what to do and what not to do, blah, blah, blah. So pretty lackluster, stuff that, the watch comes with itself. Other than that, like right here I have, this was a spare links because when I got the watch as is, I got my watch brand new, unworn, in the box, stickers, tags, warranty, everything. So these were the original links on the watch. The watch is huge. I mean, I'm a big guy. I'm 6'2", 200 plus pounds. And I mean, that thing was swimming on me. I had to go to the Rolex store in the Woodland Hills Mall and actually have them remove 2 links on me, and the watch is still kind of big, so keep that in mind. But other than that, I mean, there's like a little plastic ring that went around the bezel. You pop that off, and then there's your little superlative Rolex tag, and then, this tag has the model number and serial number and blah, blah, blah. And I mean, pretty much that's it. There's not a whole lot to it. And just, so you can see I have a Tissot Powermatic PRX, and I mean, this box it's literally the same material that the Rolex box is made out of. And I mean, hold on a second here, I'm losing stuff here. I mean, it's pretty much the same thing. A little cushion, my extra links. I had this watch adjusted, the hand tag, all that stuff's in here. And then there's the manuals there that come in the back. I mean, there's no difference. And this Tissot, this Powermatic watch that I purchased was a $700 watch. Rolex was, pushing $9,500. So I just don't think they really, are doing as much as they should, given the price of the watch. And at the end of the day, I mean, it's a stainless steel watch. I mean, there's no precious metal. I mean, there's no gems, there's no stones, there's no complications other than the date. So I really think Rolex could step their game up in that department. So yeah, it's kind of, I was in shock. I mean, I've never owned one prior to this. I didn't know that's how they come, but it was like, really? This is all that I'm getting, you know what I mean, for the money. So I mean, the watch itself, which I'll show you right here, this is the watch. I got the date version. This is a 2018. This has ceramic bezel, stainless steel. I got it in a traditional black face there. Pretty nice. I kicked myself in the ass because originally I was going to buy the Hulk at the time, it was $2,000 more than this watch. But a friend of mine convinced me not to do it because my first Rolex shouldn't have been, a green face one, which hindsight being 2020, that watch is worth, 20 grand now. So that would have been quite a come up on my behalf if I, got the Hulk. But whatever, it is what it is. So yeah, the watch itself, it's got a nice heft to it. It's got a nice weight. The bezel's really nice. It clicks like really solid. It's really loud and it's nice and tight. You can really hear that. So yeah, it's got the adjustable bezel. It's got the screw down locking crown, which prevents water from getting in there. You can wind the watch and then you can set the date, and you can set the hour and minute with there. But yeah, that's it, man. I mean, there's not a whole lot to this thing. At the end of the day, it's a stainless steel watch. So it's a tool, and it's nice. I mean, it's comfortable to wear on the wrist. It feels really like natural. It goes well with pretty much any outfit. It's classy and elegant without being flashy and gaudy. I mean, it's a nice watch. But now that I've had it for a while and I've worn it a lot, I mean, all that other, all the hype and all that stuff is really just kind of worn off. And to me, I mean, it's just a watch, that's how I really feel about it. So, is anybody else like that, or is it just me? I mean, this is my daily wear for the most part. Well, depending on which area of Los Angeles I'm in. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to the news, but there's been a lot of robberies for, tie-in timepieces. So, depending on what I'm doing that day or where I'm going, I might just leave it at home. Another thing, too, I highly recommend is getting insurance for your watch. Super important. If it's ever stolen, if you lose it, if it ever gets damaged, you got to pay money monthly to keep the insurance going, but it's worth it in the long run because, it's an investment. It really is. And you don't want something to happen to that, or if you lost it or it got stolen, you'd be up shit creek without a paddle. So if you guys don't have jeweler's insurance, you have to get the watch authenticated from a jewelry store or a Rolex store, which I don't even know if Rolex stores will even do that, honestly. You have to bring that to your insurance company and show proof, and then they'll tell you how much they're willing to cover, agree to the terms, yada, yada, yada. So definitely get insurance on your watch. But yeah, for me, it's worn off as far as the prestige and this and that. I remember when I first got it, I would never ever wear it, and when I did, I was really mindful of where my arm was, and I was terrified of bumping it. I'll never forget the first day I ever hit it hard. I wanted to have a heart attack. I was just so upset. And now, here's the thing about these watches. I get that some people, you want to keep them with no scratches. You want to keep all the stickers on. You want to put it in a safety deposit box and have it never see the light of day. What is the point of spending all this money, working your ass off to get something that you've really wanted for a long time to really treat yourself if you're just never going to wear it? I could drop dead tomorrow I can drop dead right now. I wear my watch. That's the point I'm trying to make. If it gets a scratch on it, it's just character. It just shows that I loved it, and I wore it, and I appreciated it, and I used it as it's designed. It's a watch. You're supposed to wear it. So yeah, wear your watch. But yeah, other than that, all that's kind of worn off, and I just don't think like what you're spending and what you're getting, it's very skewed, Granted, this is the only Rolex I've ever owned, so I don't know if other pieces are more resilient or if, they work better. I mean, this thing keeps time pretty consistently, but so does my Tissot. My Tissot, this watch right here, the Powermatic, this thing keeps time great. And I have this watch here for a comparison because this watch came out like a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago, and it set the whole watch world on fire because of this watch and its design, the way it was engineered, the way that it looks, its feel. It's a poor man's royal oak. It has a waffle face. It's got sapphire crystal. It's kind of has a sapphire sandwich like a Speedmaster. You got the open back movement, stainless steel, double folding clasp. I mean, this watch is killer. I mean, it's beautiful the way it shines in the light. And honestly, I have a buddy who's a jeweler, and he's telling me, like, pound for pound, other than this having the crown and the Rolex name, these watches are like practically identical as far as the material, the build quality, and the movement. So, I mean, there's plenty of watches that are out there that can give you a lot of bang for your buck without having to, go bankrupt to break the bank, just so, a handful of people that you might run into in your life will see it on your wrist and recognize what it is. For the most part, people are not looking at watches on your wrist, and, only other watch collectors are really looking at that type of stuff. So, yeah, I definitely would recommend checking out the Tissot. It's a great line. And like I showed you, I compared the watches side by side. I compared the boxes. I mean, there's not a whole lot of difference there. At the end of the day, Rolex, Patek, Audemars Piguet, like it's all basically to flex for the most part, because most people, they don't really know what's on your wrist, and it just goes, it's like a monument to your hard work and your success. Yeah, there's plenty of other watches out there that are just as functional and look just as good. I'm sure most of you know, like Seiko. These are just some of my watches that I have in my collection. But the point I'm trying to make is, like, you don't have to break the bank. This is the SK9 automatic. It's literally like a diver's watch. Granted, this has a leather strap. I could change the strap on that. But it has the day and date on here. Luminescent dial markers. Rotating bezel. It's got a locking screw down crown. It's literally like a Submariner. So yeah, you could see them side by side. There's plenty of watches out there that are affordable, that do just as good and look just as good. I mean, these are heavily in my rotation, and I don't just wear the Rolex. So don't let the internet hype and all that stuff like con you, so to speak, into getting these watches, because like I said, at the end of the day, it's just a tool, and it should be treated as such. So that's my take on it. I never thought I would say the things that I'm saying. Maybe I'm getting jaded because I've had them for a while now, but that's my take on it. It is a great watch. I really enjoy it. I think it looks great. I love the way it feels. I'm super happy that I bought it, and I will have this watch until the day that I die. I will never sell it or get rid of it because, like I said, this watch is a monument, basically a testament to my hard work and the goals that I've achieved in my life. So yeah, that's it. Tell me what you guys think, though, about, the Rolex hype, and if you think that it's worth its weight in gold, and that, the box and everything, it makes sense for what the price tag is on Rolex. I don't think so. Even I've seen other, like, super high-end luxury watches, Audemars Piguet, for example, where, like, the Royal Oak, it, like, literally comes in, like, a similar box, and I mean, those watches now, I mean, you can't buy them in store, but gray market, I've seen upwards of $40,000 to $50,000 for another stainless steel watch. So it's insane. Prices are insane, although I know they are coming down right now. Cross your fingers, knock on wood, but I've seen trends of the prices starting to take a dive. I mean, the reason being is not good, obviously, because it's a recession, economy's doing bad, blah, blah, blah. But I personally think that it's a step in the right direction, and what a dream it would be to wake up one day and walk into an authorized Rolex store and see the display cases full of watches that don't say display only, that actually have movement in them, and being able to purchase that watch for the sticker price. I mean, that would be amazing. Will I ever do that again? Probably not. Although I am interested, and I've been toying with the idea of getting a Speedmaster and adding that to my collection. So yeah, I know it's another stainless steel watch, but at least it's a chronograph, and that's an iconic timepiece, and I love the way that it looks. And I can't afford to get a Panda or Daytona, so the next best thing would be a Speedmaster. But yeah. I don't know if I would do it again. I'm kind of like one and done with this. It would be nice to have, more watches in my collection, but there's other endeavors that I want to pursue and invest my money in, and timepieces that are that extravagant are not really on the menu right now. So, yeah. Let me know what you guys think. Also, let me know what you think about a Speedmaster. I've never owned one. They look really cool. Are they the same thing as a Rolex? I don't think so. I've seen the way that they come packaged. It seems like you get a lot more stuff with the watch, and it looks really cool. So anyways, that's it. I'm done ranting for now. Thanks for listening, and I appreciate you guys checking out my video and taking a little peek into my watch collection, and I'll talk to you guys soon.